All right, the Super Bowl is over. And boy, you can say that this one might have been poetic justice for the San Francisco 49ers. Kansas City Chiefs beat the Philadelphia Eagles. The city of Philadelphia right now probably very, very upset at the officials, but James Bradberry did hold him. That was holding by the letter of the law. It was a blitz play there toward the end of the game, and it was a terribly stupid penalty from James Bradberry, if we're being 100% honest, because you give up a touchdown, the game's not over. You give up a holding penalty, and the game is essentially over. The holding penalty, automatic first down, allowed Pacheco to stay in bounds and out of the end zone on one of the subsequent runs. It allowed the Chiefs to run down the clock and bleed the Eagles to death there at the end of the game. So it was a bad play from Bradberry any way you cut it. And when you talk about the context of all this, the 49ers obviously were devastated in Philadelphia 2 weeks ago because they didn't have a fair chance to win that game without a quarterback. They've been talking a lot of trash over the course of the past 2 weeks. A lot of people are kind of raising their eyebrows at some of the talk that's been coming from the 49ers because they have seemed very sure that they would have beaten Philly had they had a healthy QB. Well, a lot of that came to roost today, especially this right here. Deebo Samuel called Bradberry, who committed that penalty that lost Philadelphia the Super Bowl, trash on this interview. Why don't we take a look? I think this came out today on the day of the Super Bowl. Deebo Samuel talking about James Bradberry.
So Brandon Ayuk come out and say
he did.
What he said
That they was going to
get exposed.
The Eagles defense. What was he saying about that?
Where's the holes?
Yeah, right.
Where are the holes?
No.
There's holes.
What's the holes?
It was some
The
wide
back
open
end.
plays now.
The back end. You got the all pro and the all pro. The D line make both of them all pros.
You don't, so
Besides Slay, I respect Slay.
What about Bradberry?
Trash.
Bradberry's trash?
He the one that made
all pro.
Did you see the play that Brandon had? The second play of the game, he got hurt. Purdy got hurt.
Time out.
The separation, like, it's just like.
It's football. You gonna make some plays?
Man,
You call him trash.
All right, so Deebo Samuel calls James Bradberry trash on the I Am Athlete podcast. And he talks about this play as his evidence. This was the play on which Brock Purdy got hurt. We have the all 22 of it right now. And this was pulled. Yeah, we got the quick rewinds and fast forwards. But Brock Purdy hit by Hassan Reddick. That's where the UCL injury happens. I pause it at that moment. Can make it a little bit bigger. That's Bradberry stumbling over himself as Brandon Ayuk is springing wide open. If Brock Purdy steps up in the pocket, gets rid of this ball a little bit more quickly, that could be a touchdown, or it's at least a big gain to Brandon Ayuk. So he is beating James Bradberry on this play. That's the play that Deebo Samuel cited when he called Bradberry trash. Well, Bradberry just lost the Eagles the Super Bowl with a really bad holding penalty late in the game. And again, nobody should be complaining about the officiating here. That's just not a chance that you take if you're Bradberry. By the letter of the law, that was holding. You can't do that. And it was not the smart play at the time. Again, a touchdown is okay for the Philadelphia Eagles at that point in time. Giving up a first down is not. They only had one timeout. You saw exactly what happened. Kansas City bled the clock. Philadelphia had no realistic chance at a rebuttal. So the Chiefs beat the Eagles for the Lombardi Trophy. And I think that, a lot of the 49ers that we're talking here over the past 2 weeks, they might feel a little bit vindicated because here was the thing. This was 6.1 yards per carry for Kansas City. Shouldn't put Philly. I'm going to fix that up on the screen. For the Chiefs, for KC against Philly. I'm in a hurry to produce this show, but here you have it. 6.1 per carry. I have the box score down here. For the Chiefs, it was 26 carries, 158 yards. Again, 6.1. That is embarrassing if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. And remember, we were talking about this heading into the NFC Championship game. Philadelphia didn't have a good run defense. All season long, that run defense struggled. Yeah, once they picked up Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh, they got a little bit better. They went from bottom barrel to middle of the pack. And it was obviously going to be the 49ers formula in the NFC Championship game to try to expose Philadelphia's poor run defense. However, even the worst run defense is going to look good if the opposing team doesn't have a passing threat. And that's what the 49ers ran up against. 8-man boxes all day. No healthy quarterback for the 49ers in the second half. After Brock Purdy went out, they didn't have enough of a passing threat with Josh Johnson. So even the Philadelphia run defense looked good. But today, Patrick Mahomes was the passing threat for the Chiefs. A lot different than not having a quarterback, right? And it was 6.1 per carry. Now, it wasn't nearly as good in the first half for Kansas City, but they made the halftime adjustments. Maybe they were pressured into them by the fact that Mahomes hurt his ankle there in the first half. But in that second half, they came out, the very first drive of the second half, they came out playing balanced football. And that's what this was really about. Kansas City showed that balanced offense can beat a great pass rush. And, let's not get it twisted here. Kansas City is the best team in the NFL. They earned the Super Bowl. They're on top of the world right now. But the reason they're there is because they played balanced football and they showcased what I think was proven to be the best offensive line in the NFL. Kansas City gave up 0 sacks to Philadelphia's all-world pass rush today. No sacks. And, sacks can be a QB stat too. Credit Patrick Mahomes as well. It's Mahomes. He's amazing. But what that line did between the ground game and not giving up the sacks and what that whole offense did, so that's Eric Bieniemy, that's Andy Reid, that's Patrick Mahomes, that's Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, that's everybody. The whole cadre of receivers that replaced Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and that O-line. What that unit did against the Philadelphia defense that had 70 sacks this season and terrorized the 49ers and hurt Brock Purdy up front in the NFC Championship game, that was textbook from Kansas City. Balance. And hey, the 49ers, they wanted to play a balanced offense against the Philadelphia Eagles as well. But they couldn't because they didn't have a healthy quarterback. And that's where all the trash talk came in over the past 2 weeks. I think it was just realistic talk from the 49ers. They wanted their chance with a healthy quarterback. So I think that, if Brock Purdy were healthy, what would have happened based on what we learned tonight? I think the 49ers would have beaten the Eagles, because we saw the big weakness with Philadelphia and run defense. It was pronounced, and I think the 49ers would have been able to capitalize on it. Their defense played well enough to win in Philly, even with some of those penalties. So I think if Brock Purdy stays healthy, the 49ers beat the Eagles, but I don't think the 49ers beat the Chiefs. I think Kansas City today proved clearly that they're the best team in the NFL because they have the best offensive line in the NFL. They're the Chiefs. The Chiefs, we know who they are. They have Mahomes. He's the Jordan of this era. Jordan, he plays with his tongue out all the time, and he gets it done. Today, he got it done on the bum ankle. He is clutch. He's one of the greats. There's no denying Patrick Mahomes. 2 Super Bowls now. We're seeing a dynasty from the Kansas City Chiefs. When you look at the way that the Chiefs played this football game, they were able to support Mahomes, not only through that run game with Pacheco and the great offensive line that helped, record those 0 sacks, that clean sheet of protection. The defense for the Chiefs is just opportunistic enough. I wouldn't have felt great if I'm a Chiefs fan and they gave the ball back to the Eagles with more time at the end of that game. But that's the Chiefs. They play complementary football to help their defense just enough. Their defense is able to make just enough plays. Jalen Hurts fumbles that football in the first half of the game, and it turns into a fumble 6. That was the difference, right? Mahomes didn't make a mistake like that. Jalen Hurts did, and it seems that the Chiefs' defense is able to get at least one of those plays a game when they really need it, in these big games when they really need it. So it's not a great defense, but it's good enough to complement an awesome offense with a great offensive line. And remember, it was just 2 Super Bowls ago where the Chiefs showed up and got completely outclassed by the Tampa Bay defensive line. I would say in 2019, they got outclassed by the 49ers defensive line, but Mahomes found a way to pull a rabbit out of his hat. This was different, though. Kansas City has built up their offensive line totally different than it was in 2019, 2020. It is now the best front in football, and they win on balance. I think they realized, Mahomes might win you a lucky Super Bowl like he did in 2019 by pulling the rabbit out of the hat. But if you want to consistently build a winner, you've got to be balanced. You've got to be great up front. And Kansas City today was clearly better than Philadelphia. And again, I'll stand by this. I think with a healthy Brock Purdy, 49ers beat the Eagles because of this. 6.1 per carry is embarrassing for the Eagles. They got exposed today by Andy Reid on the ground. And I think that throwing threat with the talent the 49ers had, would have been able to do that in the NFC title game. But I don't think the 49ers would have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs. That's just my opinion. But on the day that Deebo Samuel, or the day after Deebo Samuel called James Bradberry trash, for James Bradberry to commit the holding penalty that lost the Eagles the Super Bowl, I can't think of a more, poetic, movie-like, script-like finish to the Super Bowl after the 49ers 2 weeks of torment following their injury-riddled loss in the NFC Championship game to Philadelphia. Today, stuff really came back around and smiled at the 49ers. That sets it up for the 2023 regular season where the 49ers head to Philly, and I'm sure they're going to feel some unfinished business there. Still, wow, Chiefs gave up no sacks. Let's look up some of these stats. I mean, Mahomes was 21 of 27, 182 yards. If Jimmy Garoppolo went 21 of 27 for 182, people would roast him and mercilessly say he didn't throw for enough yards. That's the point. Like, this is efficiency right here. Mahomes was wildly efficient, and he had 158 yards on the ground. They had 182 through the air, 158 on the ground. Let's put up the box score. This is too good. Let's put up the box scores. I mean, the Chiefs took the 49ers formula and applied it today. Look at this. Rushing yards right here, 158 Mahomes, 182 passing yards, 3 TDs, both, those first two TDs. The first one was to Kelce, but the second two, that was Andy Reid getting his revenge against Philadelphia, runs a very similar concept to opposite sides with the motion cutting in, then jutting out. And that was embarrassing for the Eagles as well, to face receivers so wide open in the end zone on point blank plays. But Mahomes, 78% completion percentage, 182 yards, pair it with 158 rushing yards and no turnovers. That is a clean football game. That looks like the 49ers formula, to be 100% honest with you. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts, he's thrown for more yards, but he also had the most costly mistake of the football game, the fumble 6. Philadelphia, able to run a little bit. Not great, though, 3.6 per carry. The team that ran for 6.1 controlled the tempo of this game. And it's fitting that they, controlled the tempo and then held the ball at the end for all intents and purposes, really winning the arm wrestling match against the Chiefs. If you control the ground game the way that the Chiefs did, you will control the football game in all likelihood the way that the Chiefs did, because they didn't turn the ball over. They didn't give it back to Philadelphia. So to me, Kansas City, definitely the best team in the National Football League. All right, let's open it up. Let's get some questions in here. It's officially the offseason. We can start talking about how the 49ers can try to build a roster that either approaches what Kansas City can do, especially on the offensive line. I think the O-line is going to be the most important part of the 49ers offseason, or, what else the 49ers can do to reach the same destination that Kansas City did today, but through a different path. There's not just one path to do it, but I find it very fitting that Kansas City took the 49ers path today. I got to tweet that right now. I feel like tweeting. Kansas City. Kansas City versus Philly in the Super Bowl. Let's get this up on the screen. You guys want to watch me as I tweet? We can do that. Hold on. Let me put it up on the screen for you. There it is. All right, here we go. Tweets coming in. Kansas City versus Philly in the Super Bowl. What do we got? 158 rushing yards. $182 Mahomes passing yards. 0 turnovers. That's a Shanahan 49ers dream formula box score. Balance. Send it out. There we go. It's out. So that's the Shanahan dream formula balanced box score. But against the Eagles, the 49ers didn't have a quarterback. So you can't run balance without a QB. I think that this game just proved a lot of the obvious theories after the NFC Championship came correct. I mean, everybody's talking about excuses, this, excuses that. I mean, I think that people saw it for what it was largely right after it happened in the NFC title game. If you don't have a QB, you don't have a chance against a really good team like the Philadelphia Eagles. But the Eagles were susceptible to a balanced attack. Philadelphia beat them with it in this football game. So crazy stuff happened on that field in Glendale. A lot of slipping happened on that field in Glendale too. All right, now I'm ready for questions. Jason's on. What's up, man? Who are the top free agents? Jason's one of my friends, so it's really cool to see him on. Who are the top free agents the 49ers have a legitimate shot at? That's a really good question. I should probably study up a little bit more on who's going to get cut here over the next month, because and who's not going to get re-signed wherever they are. So many people right now are talking about Derek Carr. It's funny for the Raiders because, and I'm not saying the 49ers are going to go after a QB, but this will be the talk. Let's put it this way. We're going to be talking Justin Houston was a good name yesterday. He's going to be 34 years old next season. 49ers need a bookend to Bosa, even if he's older, he's scheduled for free agency, get Justin Houston. But on the Derek Carr conversation, I bring this up only because he has decided that he's going to play hardball with the Raiders. He has all the leverage. Why not? They either have to cut him or guarantee him $40 million within a few days. So Derek Carr says, no, I'm not going to take a trade. I have no trade clause in my contract. You guys need to decide what to do, and they're probably going to have to cut him here in a few days. He's going to be a free agent. People are going to link him to the 49ers, even if there is no veracity to those rumors. I think the 49ers are going to go more of a budget veteran. If you talk about free agents the 49ers want to sign, well, talk about the QBs. They may want to sign Teddy Bridgewater, all those kind of names. Budget veteran, pair with Lance, pair with Purdy, edge rusher, Justin Houston. You talk about free agents. You could also talk about pending free agents of the 49ers own team. Deshaun Gibson is going to be one. If he doesn't retire, I think you have to bring him back. He's going to be a top free agent. He's a pending top free agent. He was number 1 in the NFL in passer rating allowed amongst all safeties and number 2 in missed tackle percentage amongst all safeties. So you got to have Gibson. You got to figure out what you're doing at right tackle because McGlinchey's going to be a pending free agent too. As far as a larger list, we got to figure out who's cut, who's not going to be cut. That's all going to start in about a month in mid-March. But hello to Jason. Sorry, couldn't watch the game with you tonight, man. He's also in Nashville, by the way. I'm sure Jason had a good time watching the game. I got to text him back. I'm going to text him back right now. Hold on. I'm going to text him. I have it up on my screen. Season's over. We can text during the show. All right, just texted him. That should make Jason happy for now. I'll text you later, man. I can't type too much. People are going to get impatient. I don't think the 49ers are going to be trading Brandon Ayuk. No. I don't see it. I think he's your top man-beating wide receiver. I mean, look, if you want to trade Brandon Ayuk, you lose the ability to do this. Don't watch Purdy. Watch Ayuk. Top of the screen, approaching the 40-yard line. That's against James Bradberry, who just cost Philadelphia the Super Bowl. Watch this cut. Bradberry's stumbling. Ayuk is wide open. Ayuk does this to people. Ayuk made a lot of DBs look bad on tape this year. And you need a guy like that because Deebo Samuel's not necessarily a man-beating separator. Deebo Samuel's a bulldozer. He's a superstar that runs over people, but he's not a conventional number 1 wideout. He is a star wideout, but I think that you want different trades, different skill sets in your wide receiver crew. And Brandon Ayuk brings that skill set. So to trade him, you're taking a massive step back offensively. He just posted a 1,000-yard season. Did Jason Kelce just retire? I haven't been on Twitter right now, so is that true? Jason Kelce retired? I'm sure it is. Daniel Garcia's commented before. Ndamukong Suh, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox are all old. James Bradberry will be gone. Hurts will eat up the cap. Yeah, I do think the 49ers were better than the Eagles. I think the numbers flesh that out. Healthy, it's a matter of who's healthy at the right time. Kansas City, though, is the team to beat in the NFL. As long as they have Mahomes, who is this era's Michael Jordan in the NFL, You have to look at it that way now. That is the team to beat. If you're the 49ers, you need to circle the wagons to beat the Chiefs, because I think you're already better than the Eagles. And even if you're not, then who cares, because you're not better than the Chiefs right now. Chiefs came into Levi's, beat the 49ers pretty bad. I get it. It was close to the start of the fourth quarter. They still beat the 49ers pretty bad at Levi's. So the Chiefs are the class of the NFL as we speak. The Eagles are going to have tough time maintaining what they had. Well, it was the Chiefs that ran ring around the rosy, right? Not the Eagles, but I get what Mike is asking. They ran the same thing against the 49ers back in 2019 or February of 2020. Who the heck is Nick Bolton? Well, Nick Bolton is a Chief that was really, really good in this football game. They held Philadelphia to 3.6 per carry. And, I think that Kansas City, Nick Bolton's one of their linebackers, but you look at Kansas City's defense, I don't think they're great, but they are just opportunistic enough. The Chiefs have done what they need to within the constraints of the salary cap, paying Mahomes all that money, to make that defense just good enough to do what it needs to do in football games like this. They did it against the 49ers. They've done it all season this year, right, to get to the Super Bowl, and now in the Super Bowl against Philadelphia. And what a game that was. Confirmation, Mike, did Kelce actually retire? Let me know. Or Jason, I'm texting you, Jason. You could let me know. Did Kelce retire? Somebody let me know on the text to verify this. I'm not on Twitter. It's the problem. I'm doing this YouTube show. But somebody said that Kelce retired after this game. We'll see if that's true. Margot gave me a nice water with lemon in it before I came on for this show. Very nice of her, in case she's watching upstairs. It wasn't true. Is he planning to retire? I don't know. I'm not reporting it. I just put up a comment on the screen. I guess he didn't retire. So nobody's saying anything. So let's assume that Kelce is not retiring. Either way, I think that for the point of our discussion here, he's on the older end. So are a lot of other Eagles players. And it was a tough missed opportunity for them in this game. Jason's texting me right now. The little bubbles popped up. By the way, yeah, Mike says he doesn't see anything. Mike beat Jason out. Jason's typing right now. The comment section seems to think that Kelce's not retiring, so we're going to go with that. Is Kelce crying? I don't know. I'm not going to take you guys. I'm not going to trust you guys anymore. Comment section's wilding with all these rumors. If Garoppolo was healthy enough to play, I think the 49ers are in the Super Bowl. Purdy was healthy enough to play, I think the 49ers are in the Super Bowl. It wasn't the 49ers' day 2 Sundays ago in Philadelphia. No news confirming it. Thank you, guys. This is not true. We have comments. I mean, I told you the comment section is wilding with this show. Garoppolo, new 6-year contract. No, I don't think so. All right. I'm taking these comments off. 49ers don't currently have a QB. Nobody's healthy. I'm thirsty. I am thirsty. Purdy is nowhere near Mahomes. I get it. But the 49ers defense is a lot better than Kansas City's. And the 49ers rushing attack is the real deal. I think they would have beaten Philadelphia with a healthy Purdy or a healthy Garoppolo. Okay, for EPA per play this year, Mahomes was by far number one. He always is. Patrick Mahomes is the best in the league. He's the Jordan of this era. Garoppolo was number 3. Purdy was number 6. So the 49ers had 2 top 6 efficiency QBs in the league. And even though they were a step below Patrick Mahomes this year, that 49ers defense was really good. One thing that people aren't talking about enough is how good the 49ers defense was in Philly for the NFC Championship game. They held the Eagles to 3.8 yards per play. They didn't really start giving up a lot of yardage till they really tired toward the end of the first half and in the second half. And even then, they weren't giving up profuse yardage. It was the points on the short field that were coming in. And that only happened after the offense wasn't supporting the defense at all. You see, the 49ers are built on complementary football. The Chiefs just won a Super Bowl on complementary football. When one key cog of that complementary formula is blitzed, obliterated, the rest of it tends to fall apart. That's what happened to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. So were they all around a worse team than the Eagles? No. They lost the quarterback. They lose a key puzzle piece. It's like a Jenga game. You pull out the wrong log and the whole thing comes crashing down. That happened to the 49ers. Now, the Chiefs built a really good structure today. That was one that didn't come toppling down easily. Especially in the second half, they ran the football. They played opportunistic defense throughout. And of course, Patrick Mahomes is a really, really good quarterback. Someone just said, why do people keep on trying to retire Jason Kelce? You know who's an entertaining interview is Travis Kelce. I met him at Tight End U here in Nashville last summer. Really nice guy, really mellow in person. But when he gets fired up for these games, he gets, I mean, there's some real emotion there. Kelce made some big plays today. You know, it was a game of tight ends today. Dallas Goedert really, I thought he was a star today. Didn't win the game, obviously. He was on the losing team. But Dallas Goedert made some huge plays for Philadelphia. That was impressive to me. I was impressed by Jalen Hurts today, too. Jalen Hurts did some good stuff, but he also did fumble that ball away, and that was the difference. The one thing I wasn't impressed with today was the Eagles' run defense. That was pitiful. I had pizza today. Didn't do anything crazy. We watched it at the house, not at this house, at a different house, and there was only a few of us, a handful of people watching the game. Had a good time. And I like to watch the Super Bowl so I could hear stuff and I could hear the commercials and get the full experience. And I got that, and it was fun. One thing I noticed in the first half, Philadelphia is rushing Reddick as they usually do, ears pinned back. The Philadelphia Eagles lost to a team that blocked Hassan Reddick with a tight end multiple times. I joked, oh my God, they should fire Andy Reid at halftime. He's using a tight end to block Hassan Reddick. Guess what? Guess what the final result was? 0 sacks. Guys, it happens in the NFL. Tight ends block edge rushers, even premier ones, on big-time play-action concepts. That is not a reason to be mad at Kyle Shanahan using Tyler Kroft to block Hassan Reddick. I'm sorry, on that play, and we could pop it up right here. Why don't we put it up on the screen since we're here? We talk about Brandon Ayuk getting a lot of separation on Bradberry. Well, first off, Kroft doesn't completely whiff on Hassan Reddick. It's bottom of the screen in between the 45 and the 50. He does slightly divert his path. See the slight diversion there? The slight diversion pushes Reddick to the left side of the 45, and it means that Purdy is going to have to step up if he's going to hit Brandon Ayuk. He has to be wary of the block here and the mismatch that is in front of him. But Purdy is not stepping up. He's not stepping up. You better release the ball right now. You better anticipate that break from Brandon Ayuk. Still not doing it. Now he's finally throwing, but it's too late. Ayuk was already open. So this ball came out late from Brock Purdy. He didn't step up in the pocket. Am I here roasting Brock Purdy for the past 2 weeks about this? No, of course not. Brock Purdy's a rookie. He was on the road. It was a tough environment. There were other mitigating factors on that play. I could show you right now, actually. Mike McGlinchey is on the right side. I think McGlinchey was up against Fletcher Cox. Yes, he was. McGlinchey does a decent job against Fletcher Cox, but you had Aaron Banks lose a rep. So you have Javon Hargrave bearing in here. That is really going into the step-up lane of Brock Purdy. So if Hargrave is getting around Banks, at this point, it's going to be a little bit tougher for Purdy to find, I think, the courage, find the comfort to step up. He still should have stepped up, but we're talking about a rookie in the NFC Championship game. You're not going to rake him over the coals over a play like this. So it was just really a perfect storm for the 49ers. If anything, I think the issue that went most wrong for the 49ers on that play happened before that play. It was when Kyle Shanahan didn't throw the challenge flag on the Devontae Smith non-catch that became a catch. Because what happened is that Philadelphia, because of that non-challenge, got a 7-0 lead. That was fourth down. 49ers would have gotten the ball back tied at 0. Since that was fourth down, since that was a score, Philadelphia led 7-0 when this play happened. And when this play happened at 7-0, this is a play action. So Purdy is going to fake right there to Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to rewind a little bit. Here comes the play fake right here to Christian McCaffrey. This is out of a base situation. Play fake to Christian McCaffrey. Almost always, the defense is going to honor that fake. Hassan Reddick decided not to honor the fake. You see 7 down at the bottom of the screen. He roars right by Tyler Kroft. See, not honoring the fake. He is just going for the passer. If he would have slowed up a little bit, Kroft has an easier job blocking him. But Reddick doesn't honor the fake. Purdy releases the ball too late. Disaster ensues for the 49ers. But the point here is that Philadelphia gambled. And they gambled right. But I think the reason they gambled is they were up 7-0. They're not up 7-0 if the 49ers successfully challenged Devontae Smith's catch. There was a successful challenge of a Devontae Smith catch today. In a way, this game must have been excruciating for the 49ers to watch because they watched the Eagles do what the Chiefs do what they should have done against the Eagles, and that's challenge a non-catch by Devontae Smith. And they also watched the Chiefs rack up 6.1 yards per carry against the Eagles. That's something that the 49ers could have done had they had a healthy quarterback. And maybe had they challenged the Devontae Smith play, they would have had a healthy quarterback and they would have been able to rush for 6.1 per carry. Because I think that Hassan Reddick just gambled and pinned his ears back. His team was leading and he went for it. He went for broke. Sometimes it doesn't work out for you. Didn't work out for the 49ers. All right, back to questions. Got some good viewership. I like this. Oh, that's good. Yep. Ayuk had plenty of open field. But, you can't sit here and just trash Purdy. It's this bang play. He's a rookie. He did so much to get to the 49ers to that point. He got hurt on the play. It's tough. But we're adding context here. And more context is the Chiefs didn't give up a single sack in this game. That's credit to Mahomes. That's credit to their O-line. Best O-line in the game, best QB in the football game. You are actually right, Brandon. The Chiefs did not challenge. It came from upstairs. That was a booth review. But the 49ers should have challenged. There was no reason for Shanahan to at least not call timeout when Devontae Smith looked guilty as hell getting up, trying to hurry up on the next down. 49ers dropped the ball on that play. They did challenge the Goddard catch, and it wasn't a good challenge. You are also correct there. I think the 49ers have a big offseason in front of them. You're asking me about their chances next year. I think that they have to continue to improve on the offensive line. They actually improved this past season on the O-line, but not enough. We saw that with all the quarterback injuries. You can't blame Shanahan for running play action, Kroft blocking Reddick. We saw the Chiefs do that successfully against the Eagles today. That kind of stuff is bad analysis. That's just people being mad on the internet. You can't be mad about the fact the 49ers haven't had ultra top shelf pass protection yet under Kyle Shanahan. I think that's what's necessary to win a Super Bowl and more specifically to beat the Chiefs. Because you're going to have to score points to beat the Chiefs. You can't let Chris Jones detonate the game. To beat the Eagles too, you would have needed better pass protection. Because you protect better, that sets up the pass, that sets up the run, then you expose the run defenses of these football teams, of these opposing defenses. So this offseason, the 49ers need to do whatever they can to make sure the offensive line keeps on improving, which will be a challenge with Mike McGlinchey and Jake Brendel both scheduled for free agency. First and foremost, you do that. Second, you got to find the edge rush complement for Nick Bosa, and you got to find a good, strong defensive tackle. Both teams today played with good, strong defensive tackles. The 49ers interior pass rush this year was puny. It was anemic. It wasn't good enough. They had great linebackers and they had a good secondary play, but outside of Nick Bosa, the defensive line, especially on the interior, was underwhelming. Better defensive tackle, pass rushing play, better edge rushing pairing with Nick Bosa, and I think the better DT will help that. Other side of the ball, fortify that O-line. go to war with your QBs. And I say that plural on purpose because I think the 49ers, well, they've averaged like 3 quarterbacks a year ever since Shanahan has got here. So you improve the line and you maybe lower the quarterback number dependency. But I think you still have to look at this as Trey Lance and Brock Purdy and maybe a veteran backstop that you sign for an affordable number moving into next year. If the 49ers take care of that business this offseason, this roster's still really strong. They're going to be Super Bowl contenders to begin 2023. Absolutely. You can't blame Josh Johnson. I thought Shanahan made a terrible mistake end of the first half pushing the ball downfield with Josh Johnson. That's when he fumbled one of the snaps. You should expect a fourth-string quarterback to make egregious errors, which is why you don't try to push him through unnecessary 2-minute drills. The 49ers would have been better handing off to McCaffrey all day in the NFC Championship while they still had a quarterback healthy with an occasional screen pass. Once Purdy came back in with a torn UCL, Philly knew he couldn't really pass downfield. What's key is that the defense has to think that a pass is possible. Then they back off a little bit, right? Then they allow you to run a little bit. 49ers could never get to that point without the QBs. Kalia Davis, that might be one of the great hopes at defensive tackle next year. I have a Cowboys fan friend, Curtis. Cowboys hung 40 on Philly. Chiefs hung 38 on this Eagles D. With Jimmy Garoppolo or Purdy, the 49ers would have won the NFC Championship game. I think it's clear as day. I don't even think it's that disputable, to be honest. Philly averaged 3.8 yards per play against the 49ers defense. And you see Philly's defense against the legit balanced offense. You saw it against the Cowboys. 49ers offense was number 1 DVOA down the stretch. I think they would have handled this Philadelphia defense. I think that some of that trash talking that we saw over the course of the past 2 weeks, and I'll play it right now from Deebo Samuel, I think it was legit from the 49ers. I think they actually believe this, and the numbers and what happened to the Super Bowl ended up fleshing that out. Here's Deebo Samuel talking a little bit earlier. Actually, that is not it. That's Nick Bolton. Hold on. We got to get that video up. Here it is. Deebo.
Question. So Brandon Ayuk come out and say
He did.
what he said
That they was going
they gonna get
the
exposed.
Eagles defense. What was he saying about
Yeah,
that?
where's the holes?
Yeah,
Where
right.
are the holes?
No,
There's
no,
holes.
what's the holes?
It was some
The
wide
back
open
end.
plays now. The back end. You got the all pro and the all pro.
The D-line make both of them all pros.
You don't, so
Besides Slay, I respect Slay.
What about Bradberry?
Trash.
Bradberry's trash?
he the one that made all
Did you see the play that Brandon had? The second play of the game, he got hurt. Purdy got hurt.
Time out.
The separation, like, it's just like.
It's football. You gonna make some plays?
Man,
You call him trash.
And this is the play that Deebo Samuel is talking about. Again, did you see this separation right here? Wild separation. Should have been a big gain, maybe a touchdown. So that's what the 49ers were frustrated about. Maybe they get some poetic justice with this win, but I was saying it earlier in the show. With a healthy QB, 49ers beat the Eagles, but I don't think they beat the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are the best team in football, and they showed that today. Again, no sacks to this Eagles team. Balanced offense. They took a page out of the 49ers playbook. They really did. It was really, really impressive stuff from Philadelphia, from Kansas City against Philadelphia. All right, I'm going to go back to some more questions. Doing well here. Thanks to Mike and Jason. Kelce is not retiring. You guys got some questions? Let's go for it. Lemon water is really good. Refreshing and healthy. And yeah, we already covered the fact that Purdy should have stepped up. He didn't. You got to live with it. And I think that people you give credit to the Eagles. They beat a team without a quarterback. I don't know how much more credit you can give Philadelphia beyond that, though. They had a good pass rush, and they took advantage of a rookie quarterback, and he got hurt. Today, Kansas City exposed Philadelphia the way that the 49ers wanted to expose them. I agree with this. Everything outside of O-line should be bells and whistles. You get that offensive line taken care of, and you are in good position if you are the 49ers. I mean, yeah, you could say the Chiefs outcoached the 49ers, but gosh, I mean, I think you're saying Chiefs coaching better than the 49ers did against the Eagles. They also had Patrick Mahomes. It's a lot easier to coach when you have Patrick Mahomes versus 0 healthy quarterbacks, right? This is crazy to me because it wasn't a bad call. James Bradberry held on that play. It was a stupid play from James Bradberry because a touchdown wouldn't have killed the Eagles. His holding penalty would have. It wasn't worth the hold, man. Was it a ticky-tack call? Maybe. It wasn't a bad call. It wasn't worth the hold. You can give up a score. You can't give up a first down that bleeds the clock down. The Chiefs just bled the clock after that to win the game. I mean, I think the Chiefs would have beaten the 49ers in the Super Bowl. I see a lot of people asking that. I think the Niners beat the Eagles, but they lose to the Chiefs. And you tip your cap to the Chiefs. They're the best team in football this year. They just won the Super Bowl. Did Bradberry get away with something in the first or second quarter? I'm convinced Mahomes is a cyborg too. Mahomes is really good. Tip your cap. He's the champ, 2-time champ. He beat the 49ers in 2019. I know people are going to talk about holding and whatever. I mean, Mahomes got it done late in that game. 49ers O-line didn't get it done in that game. Garoppolo is a very different quarterback in that game after he took the helmet-to-helmet hit. It's another example of the 49ers not protecting up front well enough. And today, Kansas City protected up front well enough. Yeah, Mahomes is by far the best quarterback right now. Take a look at this. Let's look at, I'll open this up. Let's look at EPA per play this year. You go team tiers, EPA per play. But quarterbacks up there. And this will be eye-opening, I think, for a number of reasons. Okay, here we go. Up on that screen. Wrong one. There we go. All right. Here we go. EPA per play ranks. Mahomes, number 1. Tua, 2. Jimmy Garoppolo, 3. Josh Allen, 4. Jalen Hurts, 5. Now, we need to expand the range here to include Brock Purdy to 150 pass attempts. Purdy didn't have enough attempts to qualify. So you can see where Purdy was relative to everybody. It's reloading right now. Okay, here you go. Mahomes, Tua, there's Mahomes. There's Garoppolo. There's Hurts. And here's Purdy at number 6. Now, look at the numbers, though, in EPA per play. 0.302 for Mahomes. It is a large gap in between Patrick Mahomes and number 2. And everybody's kind of clustered here. Garoppolo, I guess he's, a little bit ahead of Hurts and Purdy, but not as far ahead of them as Mahomes is ahead of him. So it's Mahomes that's head and shoulders above everyone else. I mean, if we want to do this let's do this since 2017. And let's do at least 1,000 snaps since 2017. So this is going to give us, and remember, Purdy was 0.196, so you'll be able to compare. EPA per play since 2017. Mahomes, 0.296. Drew Brees, 0.246. Jimmy Garoppolo is actually 3rd in the NFL since 2017, 0.209. But he's still like a full 0.1, which is a lot per play behind Patrick Mahomes over that time span. Purdy at 0.196. That's like Phillip Rivers since 2017. That's good. Brock Purdy's really good. 49ers hope that he heals up so they could have that. Brady, 0.179. So Purdy would be better than even Brady in EPA per play. But there's no question that Mahomes is the best quarterback right now. Chew some ice. Oh, that's good. Bradberry admitted it was a hold. Yeah, it was a hold. I mean, that is... it was a dumb play. It was a penalty, and it was a dumb play. EPA per play is not a misleading stat. It's efficiency. What do you mean it doesn't match the eyeball test? I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. That matches the eyeball test. I think Drew Brees is really good. That matches the eyeball test. I think that Jimmy Garoppolo is really good when he's healthy. That matches the eyeball test. Phillip Rivers, really good. Tom Brady, really good. Aaron Rodgers, really good. Deshaun Watson, I mean, this is including everything since 2017. Really good. Lamar Jackson, really good. Joe Burrow, really good. Josh Allen, really good. What part of this doesn't match the eyeball test, or does it not match your bias against Jimmy Garoppolo? Oh, there you go. It doesn't match your bias against Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, guess what? Lose your bias against Jimmy Garoppolo because facts matter more than feelings. Got him. Eric Gomes chimes in. I knew Eric would like that. Oh, I'm so happy you can remember to drink water. Thank you. Let's see. Good questions. Come on. Send me the questions. Eagles fans are pushing a car over. Is Philadelphia going crazy right now? That's crazy. I could only imagine how they would react if they lost the game because they didn't have a healthy quarterback. Garoppolo, when he's been healthy, has been efficient. You know, people talking about, point out a part of Jimmy Garoppolo's game, especially this past year, that wasn't really, really good when he was healthy. It's a durability thing with Jimmy Garoppolo. And Shanahan, Lynch, they've repeated that over and over and over again. There's a reason why he wins so many games. And it's because he plays efficient, winning football. A lot of like the lowlights that people like to post of Jimmy Garoppolo came A, when he was hurt, which is obviously too often, and B, outside of context. Way out of context. You know what context is? Context is that every single NFL quarterback throws interceptions. Every single NFL quarterback misses passes. Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't the only one missing passes. And he completed a much higher percentage of them than most other NFL quarterbacks. So this, you know, this fixation on every single one of Jimmy Garoppolo's mistakes over the past several years from 49ers fans has been absolutely insane, because they're ignoring that cumulatively, and the numbers don't lie, cumulatively, he is operating the offense at a higher level than almost anybody in the rest of the league. Am I saying that Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Aaron Rodgers? No, nobody's saying that he's better than Aaron Rodgers. But we are saying that Garoppolo, within the context of Kyle Shanahan's offense, ran a very efficient ship, and that is what matters. Ran a more efficient ship than Aaron Rodgers did with the Packers over that period of time. Different weapons, probably. Well, Rodgers had a really good offensive line, so it's hard to say that Garoppolo would have had a better one. But the main point is that Garoppolo, I think by a lot of people, is very underappreciated. And by extension, I think Brock Purdy, by a lot of people, is very, very underappreciated. A lot of people are saying, oh, just the system. It's the system and the quarterback. Because not anybody could just be plugged in there and do what both Garoppolo and Purdy did. And I think there needs to be a little bit more appreciation for that. Once the Eagles' pass rush got neutralized, the secondary was cooked. They had no plan B. Yeah, and that's exactly what Deebo Samuel was saying about the Eagles' secondary. He said that the pass rush makes them good. As soon as you neutralize them, all of a sudden they can't cover. Ended up working out that way today, didn't it? So the 49ers couldn't get to that point because they couldn't have the balance without the quarterback last week. I agree. Facts do make people uncomfortable because they have preconceived notions and narratives. Just because you heard something on Twitter, just somebody said something clever on Twitter, or they posted a bad clip from Brock Purdy or bad clip from Jimmy Garoppolo, doesn't mean that it represents the aggregate piece of work. There's a reason why 49ers were so happy to be able to keep Jimmy this year. There's a reason why they're frustrated that he got hurt again. This is all part of the larger mosaic of who these guys are as players. At the end of the day, availability has been the biggest issue, not only for Jimmy Garoppolo, but for all the 49ers quarterbacks, it seems like, in the Shanahan era. All right, let's look here. Andy Reid is in the Walsh tree, technically. Let's look at the Walsh tree. Bill Walsh tree. That's a good question. I just put up the Walsh tree a little bit earlier today, so it's a good one to put up right now. This is the Bill Walsh coaching tree. So you have Walsh, and then under Holmgren, Mike Holmgren, Steve Mariucci, John Gruden, Dick Duran, Andy Reid, Mike Sherman, Marty Mornweg, and Jim Zorn. So Reid was on the Packers staff under Mariucci. In fact, I could here. Let's see where all Andy Reid has been. Go to his Wikipedia page. Andy Reid, Green Bay Packers 92 to 96. That means that he operated to 98. 92 to 98. So he was under Holmgren. So Andy Reid is under Mike Holmgren. Mike Holmgren was the offensive coordinator of the 49ers under Bill Walsh, QB coach under Bill Walsh as well. And that makes Andy Reid a direct descendant there of Bill Walsh in the coaching tree. Ray Rhodes also in there. Ray Rhodes is the defensive coordinator. Left the 49ers, went to the Eagles. James Ellingsworth wants the 49ers to grab Jake Haener. That wouldn't be bad. I think the quarterback room, it needs to be a game of numbers for the 49ers. It absolutely needs to be a game of numbers. Again, they've averaged like 3 quarterbacks a year since Shanahan got there. There's only been one season when they've been fully healthy, wire to wire at the quarterback position. That was 2019 with Garoppolo. So I think you got to count on needing more than one. They're in no position to trade away talent that's rostered talent in the quarterback room. They just need to add to that room. There's a reason that Shanahan and Lynch talk about the QB room like it's the running back room. It's because these guys get hurt so often. Not something they, would like to address. That's something I think that's why you need to have a better O-line. That's why that should be the priority of the offseason. I say fortify the QB room and fortify the O-line. Everything else is gravy. If you have a powerful O-line with what the 49ers already have skill position-wise and on defense, I think you can go a really, really long way. Steve Wilks is interesting. I talked about him in a video the other day. DB background, 49ers defense, the epicenter has shifted from the line to the back end, the linebackers in the secondary. Steve Wilks continues that transformation, but Chris Kasarik is still around, and I think he's going to have free reign over that D-line. Give Kasarik some more talent, pass rushing, a DT, and a D-end. I think good things could happen for the 49ers. What was BS about the holding call at the end of the game? Did Bradberry hold him or not? He held him. Bradberry held him like he did. He absolutely held him. Like, I don't know how you can argue whether or not he held him. On top of that, it's a dumb play from Bradberry. Touchdown doesn't kill you if you're the Eagles. A holding penalty does. You can't risk holding. So I don't think that was proof that the NFL is rigged. It's just a bad play. Yeah, Bradberry said so after the game. I said I could only show you the 17, the back of it, if the 49ers won the Super Bowl. So we might have to wait another year there. Sorry about it. Jason just texted me. Hold on. I got to read this. Oh, he wants me to tweet it. One of these I will. Get on the live. Yeah, we should start some cross promotion to Twitter because I have a lot more on Twitter. There's 91,000, but we're growing here. I always forget to do that, actually. Have you guys join me this beautiful Sunday night? But while you're at it, smash that like button. I'm only going to be on for a few more minutes, so I don't think I'm going to partake in that right now. But thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Next time, I'm going to do it on the next one. O-line, probably the biggest needed 49ers priority of this offseason. Oh, you thought Dave thinks it's Emmanuel Sanders jersey. I'm chewing ice, so I muted the mic. All right, that was good. That was really refreshing. Yeah, I will try to keep on giving you some good stadium views next year. Anyone left after Slowick? Not many. Not many left after Slowick. But again, this goes back to those days when Mike Holmgren left and took the coaching job of the Green Bay Packers and hired Andy Reid, who just won a Super Bowl. This kind of stuff trickles down if you hire the right people. So nothing wrong with having a coaching staff that gets poached away by other teams. I think you go O-line through draft, through free agency, however you could do it. It needs to be emphasized, and probably emphasized on all fronts. Kansas City did have 6 taken off the board. I thought that was a catch. 2 feet down. Back in the day, that would have been a catch. On the schoolyard playground, that should have been a catch. Well, I don't think that he played Mahomes all too recklessly today. I thought Mahomes, took off and scrambled a couple times for his life. That was good. The way that Reid played Mahomes today, I thought was as sustainable as it could be. He ran the football. Mahomes threw for 182 yards, but the running game protected Mahomes. 0 sacks, good offensive line. It's the NFL. At some point, guys are going to take hits. Guys are going to get hurt. I don't know how better you can protect Mahomes than the Chiefs did in this football game. The 49ers do need to draft a boombox guy. One of their 11 draft picks might have to go there. Guess on the 17 jersey, Billy Kilmer. I don't know. We won't know. We won't know until the 49ers win a Super Bowl. Could have been tonight. Was not in the cards. I am 6'5.5". Dr. Disrespect is, I think, is he 6'7", 6'8"? A little bit taller than me. It was cool talking to him. I saw him at training camp, and then I saw him again before the Seahawks game to open the playoffs. I am tall, yes. I think they should draft a boombox guy in the 5th round. That's where you're going to find the elite talent. He's 6'8"? Cool. Yeah, the Chiefs were balanced today. It was awesome. It was a 49ers-like formula. It really was. Could put it back up on the screen. Look at this. Look at the left side. Take my face off of this. Kansas City, 26 carries, 158 yards, 27 passes. So they were very, very balanced. I want to find here. Let's find the game box score. We could finish up with this. Box scores. This is the advanced stats box score. So we can go game. SF. Wait, they don't have the Super Bowl in here. That's really disappointing. They have the championship games, but I don't see the Super Bowl. Well, we're just going to have to look later then. We got some random Packers-Vikings game from early in the season on there, but not the Super Bowl. I wanted to see the efficiency on a down-by-down basis, but I guess I will have to wait. All right, guys, 40 more seconds. I'm going to keep this going for an hour. Then I'm just going to go chill. I appreciate that. Anybody over 6'2" is tall. Good point. Really good point. We agree with that one on the show. Here's a good one. Both KC and Philadelphia have great centers. Not a coincidence. You know, Jake Brendel was really good this year. Jake Brendel, number 3 in pass blocking efficiency. I wouldn't sleep on Jake Brendel. I don't think he was the problem for the 49ers this season. I really don't. I mean, they also had the number 1 offense for 12 straight weeks, the 49ers did, with Jake Brendel at center. Carl Cheffers told pool reporter Lindsey Jones that the grab was transparent and there was no debate on Eagles cornerback James Bradberry's third down holding. Good. That's from Mike. That's from Rap Sheet's Twitter. I can't believe that's even a debate, an argument. That was holding. It was a bad play from Bradberry. It's the same guy that Deebo Samuel said was trash. So kind of poetic. That's what I put at the start of this show. Poetic justice for the 49ers because they were talking a lot of trash. This also from Twitter. Eagles center Jason Kelce spoke about hope for the future and sounded like a guy who's looking forward to returning. Wouldn't commit just yet, though. We'll see. There's a lot of factors at play. Said he hopes to have a decision soon. So no official retirement for Jason Kelce. Sounds like he's deciding on some things. Cool. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. Like the video, sub to the channel. Let's launch the offseason of coverage now. A lot of content coming. New studio. You got the Rudy jersey. You got the Frank Gore jersey. We're ready to go. We are locked and loaded for the 49ers offseason. The Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. And now it's time to focus on 2023. Thanks again for joining. Appreciate everyone. It has been a heck of a ride covering the NFL for you this season. Talk to everyone soon.